I have little pieces of code which basically handles S3 uploads. Nice. From the front end. Okay. However, the variables are exposed. Isn't that dangerous? Are you talking about... I think I see what you're saying. So you're saying that the S3 use server API key. Yes, you don't want to do that. That's why, so... we actually have an article written about this. You want to write a proxy server. So, boom. Article written by Mike Adurto. Fantastic developer. He transitioned from being a lawyer to a developer. Awesome dude. And he ran into a similar problem when he was learning how to like build websites. And his concern was having a API key in the browser. And you don't want to do that. You really, really, really don't want to do that. So let's take a look. I wasn't finding tutorials on how to do this. So let's talk about the difference between having code. Let's talk about the difference between hard coding values and using environmental variables first, and then let's talk about the difference between including a piece of data or whatever in build time versus or at the client versus server. So when you code, right, you have the ability to hard code your data, and in that situation, having your data hard coded is a bad idea. You never want to hard code API keys. You never want to hard code any of that. So like, let's take a look at a code base I'm using for Twitch. So Twitch, this is for my overlay right here. So if we look at my server code, right, I have a .env file. This .env file is not the real file. My real file is called local.env. I'm not going to open that for very obvious reasons because that has my actual private key. These are the environmental variables that I'm using. Obviously, there's actual keys in here, which I'm not going to open, like I said. And then inside of here, let's go look at auth, right? So in auth, we want to include the client secret, the client ID, all that good stuff, right? So what would be bad is, let's say that my client secret is clisec4873, right? So what I could do is, instead of using a .env file, I could hard code this data, right? So let's say that I do that. Let's say I hard code the data, I do git add period, git commit period. Well, now, all of a sudden, if we go into OceanBit, this code base is private, but let's say it was public, right? If it was public, people reading through my source code would suddenly be like, oh no, yeah, you have that problem. I'll touch on, you're getting ahead of me, but you are on the right track, exactly. So the idea is, you don't want to hard code your data because then it's accessible from Git, right? And obviously that's a big problem because it means that anyone reading your source code knows your password, and that's not good, right? But if I use an M file, right? And Twitch secret is using process.env, right? And I keep it in here. Now I don't, so like I can commit this .m file, but I don't commit this local M file. And this is good because now it means that I can access this data from the runtime, exactly what you're talking about, but it's not coded into my app, right? This is good for servers because it means that, like, my server is running on my computer, right? I'm not letting you run my server with my credentials or, So because of that, because I trust my server's hosting provider, like my whoever's hosting my servers, whether it's me, whether it's Amazon, whether it's a Google Cloud provider, whatever, right? I'm able to keep these data in environmental variables, no problem, for the server. But let's say that I include an environmental variable inside of React Native. Yes, this is backend, exactly. Just what you're talking about. This is hosted somewhere that I trust. I know everyone that has access to my server, and because of that, if they go snooping around in my environmental files, I don't care, right? But that's because this is controlled by me. I don't control, so like let's take a look at like an APK, right? Let me see if I can... I'm trying to think of, like, what's a super easy demo. You know what? I'll show you an easy demo. So, Zach DeRose is... Hang on. There we go. Zach DeRose is one of my buddies. He was on the stream earlier. He was talking about blogs, right? He wrote this blog with Firebase. Now, I'm assuming that he's smart enough, and he is. He's a freaking amazing developer. That is using .m files, right? So let's assume that it's not hard-coded in his code base, in his Git code base, right? But I know for a fact that he's using Firebase. One, because there's an error that literally says Firebase error, etc., right? So let's go find his configuration file. Let's go see if he followed good security practices or not. Firebase credentials provider, auth.get token. You might need to still keep looking. Hang on. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for. Oh, come on. There we go. Chrome, what are you doing? Come on. Cool. So we're gonna keep looking. Firebase. Element.child. Yeah, big file, but that's because it's Java. You know, it's an Angular application. Get pa. Oh, you know what? I thought of an idea of what I can message Zach about to build and improve on his website. That's it. I'm kind of quickly glancing at all this because I have an idea of where it might be. Because I have built Firebase before. Firebase error. Project ID was not included and There we go. Found all of his data. That's his project ID. That's his API key. This is all the other stuff. Now, that said, this is all safe stuff. Zach has done his due diligence. I have 99.99999% sure you are supposed to commit all of these things. But how quickly did I find all that? Right? I literally searched project ID and it was the first thing that popped up in his source code. And I guarantee you, knowing Zach, I guarantee you that he does not have this code in his Git. It's in an environmental variable file. So what I'm saying is that whenever you push an environmental variable into your build, whenever you have it accessible at runtime, whatever, it is visible if it is on the client. Because it is visible on the client and you cannot trust your users because they're bad faith actors, you cannot push API keys to your client. Doesn't matter whether it's hard-coded in your code base or if you're using environmental variables, you have to keep secret credentials inside of your server. So yeah, I'm gonna double check this. I'm 99% sure that this is like secured, but let's see here. Why did he do it? So Firebase is particular. Firebase allows you to do things on the client, and it expects you to be on the client. So while there's an API key, there might be like an API secret. are not used to control access to backend resources. Okay. Whew. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. The API key is not like other API keys. Okay. Usually you need to fastidiously guard API keys. However, API keys for Firebase are okay to include in code. So what you sent is inaccurate. You do not want to follow this guide. You don't want to do it because it requires you to write your environmental variables of your secret access key. Literally, it would take me 5 to 10 minutes of decompiling your APK that's shipped to the Play Store that is sent to my device. It takes me 2 minutes to grab the APK from my device, and then it will take me 10 minutes to decompile your app to grab that access key. Do you want to know how I know it's that easy? Because I've done it before. Not for bad acting or anything, but because I wanted to showcase to another developer that their app was insecure. So yeah, do not follow this advice. And I will be like writing to the author and telling him exactly that this is not only bad advice, this is actively dangerous to include in your application. Be very, very cautious with any of your API credentials. Please, please, please follow this guide or something like it. And please feel free to reach out to me on Discord or on Twitter. And I will help you walk through this. I will help you like keep your items secure. I won't charge you or anything. I love being able to help people. So